YouTube, what's good? What's hood? We back cracking with another reaction. Yeah, man, the grind don't stop, man. I told y'all I will deliver. So I did another parole board piece of content, man. Y'all was like, man, do that, man. It pick up. So I'm gonna start doing the parole board reactions. Today, man, this is something that somebody across the world then went through. You know, this is somebody's trials and tribulations. We got the evil uncle, man, did the unthinkable. You know what I'm saying? Caught red-handed. I believe it's a hearing about an SA charge. And the uncle, man, is up for parole. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they gotta let him out that cage. You know what I'm saying? I think he should be in there forever, but society don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody don't, you know. But we got some good content, man. This is for the ones that asked me to do this type of controversy reaction. And yeah, we gonna do it, man. We got the evil uncle coming up. Shout out to Man Dude, man. Appreciate the content. Let's go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
You're not the victim in this offense. The victim of this offense is the child.
That's where I'm confused.
Because that's what we are talking about. You're not a victim, sir. You're not a victim.
No, I'm not a victim. I'm not claiming victim. I apologize. There's a stuttering between
why you would refer to yourself as a victim. You're not in prison for sexually assaulting yourself.
No, I'm not.
Shit.
I'm not.
A warranted mic drop, and there are actually a handful of mic drops in this parole hearing, which was wonderful to see out of the state of Connecticut. This man is serving time for doing this to his biological nephew from the age of 4 to 8. He, of course, is somehow up for parole after serving just 4 years of his 8-year sentence. Who would have thought? Anyways, we'll jump in and unpack it at the end.
Wait a minute. Y'all, wait a minute. Nigga, you talking about Uncle Colonel grandson who did that to his man? Listen, they gave that boy 8 years. 8 years. That's it? You give a bank robber more time. Since the age of 4. Come on, man. That's crazy, man. Man, I ain't gonna say no. But I want to say what I want to say. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and mind my business. Go get me some copper fish and go fishing. Let's go, man.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Vasquez. Today is March 27th, 2024, and this is hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, do certify that they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaffini. Daniel Member Page. Good morning. Good morning, Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Good morning.
Thank you, board members. Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Joshua Richardson, 424-389.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Also, let the record further reflect that we do have present the Office of Victim Services Advocate De Jesus. Okay, so this is a hearing being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Mr. Joshua Richardson, inmate number 424-389, who is serving a total effective sentence of 21 years, suspended after 8 years. This is followed by 15 years probation. And this is for illegal sexual contact.
Wait a minute.
Age 13.
They dropped the time down, gave him 8 years, and release him once he served 8 years and get 50 years probation. Man, if that ethnicity don't come with perks and privileges, I don't know what it is, man. Because this would never been a black man. He would never got 8 years and 50 years probation, bro. That's crazy. What? Look at him. You can tell, nigga, this he a repeated offender. You let this nigga out, he gonna do it again. Yeah, hide you. Keep him over. You know what I'm saying? This ain't it, boy. What he gonna come home to? What are you coming home to?
abuse a child, sexual assault, third degree, use or threat of force, and also conveying unauthorized item into institution. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility for Mr. Richardson of February 25th, 2022. This is at 50% eligibility. There is victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for this offender, which has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed a short-term sex treatment program. He remains on the Department of Correction waiting list for education need to be identified, 5 or 7 day job assignment, vocational need to be assessed, and voices. This is according to the RT3 inquiry I just ran. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the low range risk of recidivism. That was an echo.
Yes.
Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the low range. All right, Mr. Richardson, this is now your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. Thank you. To the distinguished members of the board, I thank you for allowing me to speak before you today. For 2,277 days, I have reflected on my mistakes and discerned from them how to be a better human being overall. I have truly come to understand what it means to be rehabilitated completely and fully. My only desire is to become a peaceful, law-abiding citizen again and to re-enter the world and prove to those who have stood by me in my darkest days that their faith is not misplaced. I especially want to thank and acknowledge my best friend and love of my life. Her never-ending encouragement and love has strengthened me in my weakest moments. I only wish to repay her with my undying love and support all the days of my life. As it says in the Bible in James chapter 1, verse 25, but he who looks into the perfect law of freedom and continues not being a hearer who forgets, but a doer of the work, this means he will be blessed in all he does. I fully intend, if upon release, to be a doer of that word, to follow all things put before me and follow them to completion for the rest of my life. And not just a hearer. I thank you for the consideration of my case.
Thank you for your statement, sir. We do have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll turn the hearing over to the Office of Victim Services for input, and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Palmieri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Richardson, I just want to ask right off the bat, do you still deny these charges?
No, I don't. I take responsibility for my actions.
So you admit that you committed these sexual assaults against the victim?
Yes, ma'am, and I take full responsibility for that.
Okay, because in pretty much everything I've read up to today, you weren't accepting responsibility. You still denied that it occurred.
I only denied, I didn't deny everything. I only denied a portion of it. But as of today, after reflecting, talking with family, praying about it, I take full 100% responsibility for all my actions.
Okay.
You've changed that because of prayer and talking with your family?
Yes, my family is the biggest support system I have. And
sir, I'm not gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it was 2. I think they said 4. Let me tell you something. I want y'all to look at this face. Look at his face. You can tell, you know what I'm saying? You look at somebody in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? The eyes will tell you everything. You know, it's kind of preconceived, but at the same time, right? Yeah, man, he's you know, he's grateful that he still have a family that he, you know what I'm saying, that'll support him. You know what I'm saying? But 4 years, you been there 4 years and you ready to come home after what you did. That's go, man, that probably go traumatize that child, that little boy for the rest of his life. He was 4 years old. That's crazy work. Let's go.
They are behind me 100% regardless of what I've done. And of course, because of that, I take responsibility for it. So yes, I take 100% responsibility for my actions. Only I committed them, and therefore I am responsible.
Okay. And the assault took place over 4 years?
It took place in less than 4 years.
in less than 4 years, but over the
Not a
course of 4
4-year period.
years?
Not a 4-year period, and a 1-year period. They say it was a 4-year period. I am admitting to a 1-year period.
Okay.
Still
That's the
bad.
part where I was denying it. So it wasn't that big time span.
You did it. It don't matter. You did it.
And
6
you have
months
no
is a
prior
long time
criminal
of doing that.
history, so you've never been arrested or convicted before.
No, ma'am.
And you know you have 15 years of probation to follow your period of incarceration.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did say that through the support of your family, we did get a number of letters in support of your early release, and you're attesting to your character and that you'll change and they'll support you in the community, including your mother and your girlfriend and the mother-in-law of
Yes,
your
ma'am.
girlfriend. Okay. All right. You've taken the short-term sex offender treatment program.
Man, I thought him having a girlfriend be all the way off the table. You heard what he did? He was his nephew. He was 4. Man, for a girlfriend, boy, that's some real love right there. That's some real love. If you can sit next to a man that did that, that's crazy work, man. Let's go.
Program during
Yes,
your period of incarceration. Can you tell me why you think they wanted you to take that program?
Because I'm a sex offender, ma'am. Because I committed the crime and I'm responsible. Therefore, I needed to figure out what are my triggers, how to avoid them, and how to be able to channel destructive behavior into positivity. That way, going forward, I can't reoffend again.
When did you finish the program?
Almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. Okay. Prior to taking that program, were you still in denial, or was it?
No, I was accepting it because the day one of the program, you have to actually come out and say whether you were guilty or not. And I stood up in front of everybody and said, yes, I am guilty of this crime and I deserve to be here.
Okay. All right. So tell me what you were able to identify through that treatment program as triggers for you in the community.
Okay, so prior to taking this class, I've also taken some other voluntary programs while I was at Garner and other programs, learning specifically about mental health, specifically that I have complex PTSD and I have triggers due to that, due to a traumatic childhood involving my father and his suicide and his abuse of me as a child. So I learned to be able to.
Can't have me on that parole board. You telling me that shit? Hey, look, everybody got some trauma in their life. You ain't the only one, and all that, man. You ain't getting all that little good privilege that y'all, your constituents be getting. Nah, that ain't enough time, man. I could just see it. You know what I'm saying? But I do think it's a mental health issue inside of him, somewhere where he's off balance. But nah, nigga, I ain't give me that shit, and don't let it be black. Don't let. Man, if it's some black hood, let it be a judge or somebody who oversee, you know what I'm saying, your parole date, your release date. And she from Compton, Watts, Gardena, and something like that. Yeah, they be like, what that man, 4 years? 4 years. 5 days is a life full of trauma. So a whole year, that's a lot, bro. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? You the boogeyman. 4. And you ready to come home. You learn you admitting to these triggers. Now you need to stay till them triggers go away. Hell, motherfucker, no, nigga, shit, nigga, you ain't taking medication for it. I think they got those new situations where they come change, brainwash you, change your mind frame, make you lose all your thoughts and all. I think he needs that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end, that's the only thing. Because triggers don't go away. That could come back. PTSD, that could come back. Nigga, hell nah, nigga. A cartoon or something flash on from what happened that day, and let's get back to what it was. Hell, motherfucker, nah, man. And not to mention, he's a big nigga, man. He's a big dude. A child, that's just he probably scaring the shit. Man, I don't know where he live at. I don't know. I don't know if he comes from money or he comes from one of them small towns where it's probably like X amount of people. We don't know, but He look creepy, man. Let's go.
actually approach those things that I denied that ever happened to me. And then I learned that those led to negative thoughts, and those negative thoughts were what were triggering me. So now, instead of particularly just if I have a negative thought, I start channeling it out. I write it out completely, the complete thought. I break it down word by word, sentence by sentence. Then I figure, okay, what's the root cause of this that's causing the thought? And then I look for positive ways to be able to I guess mold it into a way that so I can find
Nah, nigga, don't
positivity
give
and
me that
gain
shit.
strength from the negative thought instead of negativity.
Don't give me that shit.
I also learned about what are the potential pitfalls that you might experience in the world, situations, environments, people, and I learned exactly how to live a productive lifestyle that avoids all those things.
Oh wow, I see
So
the gestures coming out. I see the gestures coming out. I don't know, chat. Man, and he has a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's a disguise or not, but yeah, man. What y'all think, chat? I don't think this is he ain't ready yet. No, he ain't ready. He just in there. Don't give me that shit. I couldn't be on that parole board. Nigga be excited to come home, boy. Think they coming home and I ain't coming back.
when you have these triggers, that will be your process.
That will be my process, as well as seeking, like, as if it is a very complex trigger thought, that is where I seek professional help, because I do plan to go to individual therapy as well as group therapy and seek mental health services, very frequently if I return to the world. So, when I reach the point where I can't seem to figure out the solution to it, I will seek professional help so I can avoid those things, because I do not wish to offend again or get into a situation that I cannot get out of again.
Is that also what you would consider to be your relapse prevention plan?
Yes, ma'am. As well as, between, wanting to be a productive member of society, I want to get training to actually have a career just to be able to support myself financially as well as support my loved ones, because my girlfriend will become my wife. We are planning to get married and we're planning to be a family, and I want to be able to support her completely in all her dreams. So having that, as well as I have a very large family that is very supportive. I have a very large church family that is very supportive because I'm very into my religion. And so all those groups have all decided to rally around me to make sure that I can't fail again.
Okay. And
Let me
your
see these people.
relationship with the victims, have you had any contact with any of that side of the family?
No, ma'am.
You have 3 disciplinary reports.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk about those a little bit? I mean, one of them resulted in a new conviction and a 1-year consecutive sentence. It's pretty significant.
I can. So the first one, for the intoxication, I still was fairly new to jail, and I was very frightened about still being in jail, as well as dealing with PTSD, anxiety, and mental health stuff that I hadn't got a handle on. And I had just gotten a new bunkmate who came in at Corrigan, and he had Suboxone. And he said, "Oh, take this, it'll knock the edge off." And I said no for a couple weeks, and then eventually I succumbed to the pressure of him, offering it to me on an almost daily basis. And when I did the urinalysis the following day, I immediately, before they even gave it to me, I admitted to my wrongdoing and took full responsibility for it. Okay. As for the newest conviction, as you can tell, I'm not a very small person. And so I had a sewing needle that I was using to alter my clothes to be able to fit more properly, because the facility didn't have sizes that fit me. Now, when they found the item, they said the facility said it was contraband, and they dumbed it down to tattooing equipment when it really was a sewing needle, and I admitted it to it. But then the state said, oh, it was a weapon. And so I went through the process of dealing with the new charge. And the attorney came to me after a couple of months and said, they're offering you a 1 year added onto your sentence. It's probably the best offer you're going to get. And he suggested that I take it, and not really knowing very much about the law. I was afraid, and I was afraid of, how long it would take me to get in front of you today. And I took the offer. But I don't agree with it being a weapon. It was a sewing needle just to alter my clothes so that I could be comfortable, in my own skin and walking around and not look like a fool.
Where did you get the sewing needle?
A sewing needle there was a gentleman on my block who made them. For $2, he would make you one. And I took the offer.
Tell him.
All right. So some of the other programs that they wanted you to take was the Voices program.
They initially gave me Voices program, then they took away Voices program, and then upon the new conviction, they put Voices back on my program. But in this facility, it's a 1.5 year wait to get in.
Okay. And I realize that you haven't taken it and you're on the waiting list for it. And you know that the Voices program is to bring awareness about the victimization that you've had on the victim and how their long-term effects are. So in your situation, tell me what you've thought in terms of what is the long-term effects on the victim. How do you think this affects the life of the victim?
This ring here is worth $1 million. And I know you're probably thinking, well, it's made out of gold or platinum or it's designed at Tiffany.
This profoundly affects the life of the victim. As myself as being a victim of this crime by my own father as a child, it stays with you every day of your life forever. You can find coping ways to deal with it and get through life.
Wow. Why is it that he get to justify his downfall with his father that, and it's suitable or justifiable for his actions or a reason why he's so trauma? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get that as black men. We don't get the chance to say, oh, my daddy wasn't there and he beat me and beat my mama and all that stuff, and I'm just damaged. Nah, man, that boy, he working it, man. But I don't think it's gonna fly, man. For some reason, I'm not buying it, so I'm pretty sure the judge ain't buying it.
With it, but it never goes away. I have profoundly affected my victims in a negative way, and I forever will feel guilty of that and forever take responsibility for that. I cannot take it back. I did it. I can't take it back. But all I can do going forward is be a positivity in the world and not a negativity in the world.
So let's talk a little bit about your release plan. You've proposed to live with your girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am. We were living together prior to this.
Right. And what else is your plan upon release?
I intend to take advantage. The state has been offering vocational training programs that I've been trying to get into while incarcerated, but because of the length of I've left on my sentence, I'm not eligible to take any of those. So upon release, the first thing we wish to do is to go up to Hartford and enroll in the program to try to get some vocational training so I can have a career, as well as seeking, individual therapy multiple times a week, as well as going to scheduled programs that are going to be, required of me. And in the meantime, I have put out, little feelers for trying to find employment, and I have found some responses, especially where I used to work before. They are more than willing to accept me back to work. So I should have a job fairly quickly upon release. And pretty much my life at this point is about going to work and going home and maintaining a home life. That's my whole world. I only ever really want to do that. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't go places where I don't go, not supposed to go. As I said to the parole officer, kind of like me and my girlfriend's life is, we love to go antiquing. We love to go to thrift shops, and we love like that kind of thing. But then it's pretty much that and go home, and that makes me the happiest person in the world and the safest person in the world.
Okay. Well, it's important to have hobbies and structure in the community. I appreciate that. You have a lifetime requirement to be on the sex offender registry. Can you think of how that will impact you at all?
It will impact me the rest of my life. It will impact me negatively, but that also holds me accountable. It also always will hold me accountable for what I've done. It'll always be a reminder of what not to do, what not to repeat, what behaviors not to do, not to repeat, and how to go forward in positivity. So I think it is a negative, but it also been used as a positive.
What do you think will be difficult for you upon release?
I think probably employment would be difficult, but as well as acclimating into the community if they wish to know about what I've done. And I'm not afraid to tell people what I'm convicted of. I'm not afraid to tell them that yes, I'm guilty. But that's because I made this mistake and I messed up. It's not a definition of who I am as a person and who I am going forward. I can be a great person going forward despite all this.
That's not a mistake, bro. I mean, I feel like he's selling it, man. He's really selling it. He's articulate, but you can see the fabrication in his conversation. You know what I'm saying? You know, they know he'll say anything he gotta say to get up out of there. I'm still like, you know, your nephew who was 4 years old. It's not a niece, but a nephew, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Let's go.
What do you do to occupy your time now that you're done with treatment?
Right now, I spend I talked a lot to family. I talked to my girlfriend. We get 6 free calls a day. All 6 free calls are used up to talk to them. Between them, I do drawing. I've taught myself how to do art. I've gone from basic stick figures to, I would say, somewhat decent work at this point. I'm no Van Gogh, but between that,
see, it's the haircut for me. It's the haircut for me, boy. Go ahead, y'all want to listen? Let that man out. 6 months, and he get triggered, and he's tired of taking the medication because the side effects it could potentially get bad. Let's go.
I go to church. I do daily devotional, daily Bible studies. I don't really socialize a lot with the people in here. I tend to be quiet and read books and stuff like that. There's a few people I talk to, but I tend to just keep to myself and try to be as low profile as possible. So,
you by the officer in February were okay. You're
probably 10, 12 years.
So when the victim says that this has occurred for over 4 years, you're saying it was 1 year.
It was 1 year. It was the last year that I was living there.
Why did you choose this victim?
Excuse me?
Why did you choose this victim?
This victim was the closest thing to me. It wasn't like I intentionally meant it. It was the closest thing to me. At the time I committed the crime, and as I've stated in my program before, I felt like a lack of control because I had no control over anything in the house. So I felt like if I did this, I could have some control over something. It was very wrong, and I admit guilt to that it was very wrong thinking and stuff. But I didn't have a handle on exactly where my thought patterns were at the time. So between then and now is when I've been able to figure out exactly what was the trigger, what caused my mind to go there, and what my thoughts were.
Okay. But you just said that you were the one that was bringing in the money. So I wasn't the only one bringing in money. The father was also working at the same time, but between me and him, we were the ones that were primarily paying the bills, the rent, and so forth. So okay. So let's go one step further. So if this victim were your sister, do you have the same mother and father?
Yes.
And so does your sister still maintain a relationship with your mother?
It's kind of rocky at times, but yes.
And how about the children?
She doesn't really have a relationship with the children.
I'm just curious. This offense had to have divided your family.
Yes, it has. And initially, it divided my family, but my sister has come to support me after the fact. But me and her have never had the greatest relationship to begin with, so it's very We keep a little bit of a distance between ourselves. We communicate to stay friendly, but we don't have the closest relationship.
Do this to raise your credit score fast. Have you seen this guy before? The guy that says,
paying your bills on time raises your credit score, right? Wrong.
Well, you might want to.
So when you're having family gatherings, what do you think the situation will be like?
Well, the situation now is family gatherings is probably just between me and my mom. I doubt that my sister would actually participate in them because she, for lack of a better word, she's not very reliable. She kind of is not present most of the time. So
Can you blame her?
No. But it has to do with her own mental health issues. She has her own mental health issues that she has always refused to be able to deal with. So because of that, it puts a strain on our relationship, particularly between my mom and her. But the relationship between me and my mom is great. It's always been great. But the relationship.
Stop. Sorry. So does your mother know that you admit now?
Yes.
When did you tell her?
2 years ago.
So you were just interviewed by the officer in February, and you said, and I'm going to quote, because the officer wrote it, you said to him that he said Mr. Richardson was asked to comment about the day of his arrest. He states that the police showed up at his residence and served him with a warrant. When asked about his involvement in this offense, he says he thinks that he was the only person to blame. Mr. Richardson says he did not commit this offense.
Yes, at some point though, I have to play.
You just said that you admitted it 2 years ago. This was last month.
I talked to. I'm sorry. I'm confused. I'm just confused. That's all. It's not that I talked about that. I got arrested.
You won't be confused. You know that.
I apologize. I'm just confused. That's all. I admitted it 2 years ago that I was guilty of something, but I didn't admit guilty of this. I admitted that I was guilty of putting myself in a situation like this. I'm admitting now that I'm guilty of the crime. I'm convicted of the crime. I'm guilty of the crime, and I'm taking responsibility for the crime for the rest of my life. And I'm accepting those responsibilities.
Just last month, you were not. So
Between then and now, I've had the opportunity to be able to reach out to every one of my family members, every one of my support groups, including in the world.
I have to be honest with you and tell you that I don't believe that. You were just saying to my colleague, you just said, I asked you, when did you tell your mother? You said 2 years ago. And 2 years ago was
about
not
my own abuse, not my own abuse. I'm referring to my own abuse.
Well, we weren't talking about you.
That's where I'm confused. I don't know which one you're talking about.
We're here to talk about you're not the victim in this offense. The victim of this offense is the child.
That's where I'm confused. Because
That's what we are talking about. Well, you're not a victim, sir. You're not a victim.
No, I'm not a victim. I'm not claiming victim. I apologize. There's a stuttering between
why you would refer to yourself as a victim. You're not in prison for sexually assaulting yourself.
No, I'm not. I admit that. There's a stuttering between the video here, and that's where I got confused.
So, Mr. Richardson, when I asked you if you denied the offense, you said no. And I asked you, did you admit the offense when you went into treatment? And you said yes. And that's why I asked you, when did you finish treatment? Because the report says that you say you denied it. So I just wanted your clarification on my own questioning because I was deliberate.
I know
in my question.
And I'm just not understanding why. I mean, you know, we do our homework and we are very thorough.
I'm aware of that, yes.
So I'm not sure why you would sit here today and say, yes, I admitted that I did it. And I've been telling everyone that I did it and your family's all rallying behind you. And now you're sitting here today and telling us that, you know, I didn't, you know, I based on everything that was read up until this very moment, right? It has said that you denied committing this crime.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Oh.
Got him. Got his ass.
Okay, I'm all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, this really is a dilemma, Mr. Richardson. I have a similar concern. You know, are you coming in here and telling us what you think we want to hear so that you can get on parole? Or are you really being honest with everyone? Have you told your fiance yet that you committed these crimes against a child?
Yes.
And what did that conversation look like?
It was very brutal. It was very brutal. We did not talk for a while. And
So when did you have this conversation?
Only recently, when I started having this conversation about coming to here and admitting everything.
When did you have this conversation, sir?
Just recently, like
can you define recently? Because your time frames are a little bit.
Couple weeks, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay, you had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and how did she react to the news?
She was devastated.
But I mean, you had been lying to everyone for years, right? She didn't care that you had lied to her about this?
Yes, I should have cared, and I feel bad about it now.
And not only that, but you further traumatized your victim by saying that he was coerced and had mental health issues and basically calling this child a liar for years.
Yes, and I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sad face ain't working, bro.
So I guess I'm a little confused about how and when exactly you came to the conclusion that you would be truthful to everybody.
I don't know how I came to the conclusion other than prayer, talking to people, admitting it with myself.
My God,
The
be
first thing you have to do is
boy
admit
out
it
of
to yourself.
control. All right,
First thing I had
man.
to do
So
was admit
let's get
myself
up out of
that
here, man. I
I'm
got
responsible.
content. I got more content to drop, man. Shout out to Mandu, man. Dope parole board reaction. Yeah, we gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all drop y'all opinions in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Let go. And love, peace, and hair grease.